Hello and welcome to our front-end web development class. Before we go deep into front-end web development, we need to know how the web works. Okay, so the first part of or the first segment here is what we call a file server. A file server is any computer that keeps files. It's simply a computer. And when that computer is connected to the internet, it has what we call an IP address or Internet Protocol address. With this IP address, any other computer on the internet can connect to this same computer. So that means if I know the IP address of the computer housing, let's say CNN.com or Zigela.com, and I have the ports 80, which is for the web, forwarded, I can easily connect to that computer and access files. An IP address would look something like this, let's say 128.10.14.4. Now with this IP address, I can easily reach my file server. But it becomes very difficult for people to cram this kind of long numbers because they want to visit your website or your files that is stored on your file server. And that is where a domain name comes in. A domain name is an easily recognizable name that maps to your IP address. So what happens is your domain name maps to your IP address. And the third part of this equation is what we call a DNS record. So there is like a large internet phone book that contains or that maps domain names to their respective IP addresses. So if I can easily remember www.zigela.com or example.com, I don't need to cram this IP address. More so, this IP address can change tomorrow. I can move the files of example.com from a particular computer 1 to computer 2. All I just need to do is go ahead to update the DNS record and point www.example.com to the new IP address of the new computer, because every computer would have their own unique IP addresses on the block. Yeah, let's move to the next part, which is the browser. So basically what your browser does is when you type, let's say, anything in your address bar, let's say you type www.example.com, your browser would search DNS records and map the correct IP address for example.com, search for the files on the port 80, and then display those files on your browser page. So let's assume that on your file server you have an HTML file that contains image tags with a source that goes to pixels or something. Your browser will interpret this image tag as a picture. And if there are other tags like paragraph, it would also give you a paragraph. If there are other tags like heading, it would also give you the heading. In a nutshell, this is how your browser works, and this is how the web works. Once again, you have a file server that saves whatever you are working on as a website, a computer that is connected to the internet and that can be reached via an IP address. You buy a domain name that is easily recognizable. You set up DNS records. Your domain provider can do this for you. That points your new domain name to the IP address of your files, and boom, anybody visits the browser and sees whatever you have done on your file server. Thank you. Bye.